be completely honest, I love my team. I think they're great. I don't have any intentions of really trading any of them. I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't really care. But I think we've already discussed we are going to trade coaches. Fee's going to take her coach, Sandy Brondello. Let's get it.
Ooh.
It's going to be amazing. Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rule. Sorry, ESPN, if that's not in the rules, but we just made it a rule.
Now.
So, Sandy Brondello, come on over.
Whoa.
Let's get to it. You can coach Sabrina. So therefore, maybe Stewie wants to come on over to my team.
Whoa.
Let me know. Fee, you want to give me Stewie?
We have breaking news here. I don't know that I've heard of a coach being traded in the All-Star game. This is something that you're agreeing to, Fee. There's no terms to this deal.
I agree with Cheryl, I agree with the trade. I love Cheryl, she's my coach here. And you know what, that's just gonna be worse for Team Clark because now we got more chemistry on our side, we got more synergy, we know what we expect from each other, so that was a bad move on your part, Kayla, we're taking you down.
Okay, so the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game Draft just served up one of the wildest moments in league history. We're talking about a live trade, but not of a player. Oh no, Caitlin Clark straight up traded her coach. Yeah. Let that sink in. While everyone else was picking players like it was your average exhibition draft, Caitlin said, actually, I'm going to go ahead and flip the script. And just like that, Cheryl Reeve was out and Sandy Brondello was in. First time ever in WNBA history. But here's the thing everyone's missing. This wasn't just a bold move. It was a statement. Because if you think Caitlin made that swap just for fun, you haven't been paying attention. The tension between Clark and Reeve? Real. The timing after that Olympic snub? Too perfect. The way she announced it on live TV? Main character energy. But before we break down what this coach trade really meant, let's rewind to the moment that flipped the whole room upside down. Drop your take in the comments. Was Caitlin's coach swap pure petty revenge or strategic brilliance? Sound off below. Is this the beginning of a new era in the WNBA?
Coaches are maybe going to be the X factor.
Hey, Sandy, defending champion, loves to shoot threes, lets her players get after it. I don't know. I'm feeling good with Sandy and Sabrina on my team. Like I said, if you want to send Stewie over too, I'll take her. So
what's the offer? What's the offer for Stewie?
What's the offer here?
It was supposed to be lighthearted, just a chill all-star draft, broadcast live, smiles all around. But then, boom, Caitlin Clark made history with a move so bold, even ESPN didn't know what to do. She didn't just pick players, she traded her coach. Cheryl Reeve gone, Sandy Brondello in. The camera cuts to Clark, and she's smiling like it's the most casual thing in the world. Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rules. Sorry, ESPN, if that's not in the rules. But we just made it a rule. Mic dropped. In seconds, the internet exploded. Tweets were flying. TikToks were already being edited. Clark had just done something no WNBA player had ever done before. She took control of the All-Star format like it was her personal playground. The league, the coaches, the media, nobody saw it coming. And then, the icing on the chaos cake, Sabrina Ionescu's reaction.
Congrats on the win. First for you, Leo, what was your favorite play individually tonight with the 3 blocks and also the offense? What was your favorite play for you? And Coach, you may have been involved in the first ever coach trade of any All-Star game ever. Just want to get your thoughts on that in your mind. First for you, Leo.
They announced it?
Yeah.
That you got traded?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to go look at all that.
Traded.
I have no idea what the teams are.
Second time in history now. Jeez, as a player.
She finds out she's not only on Team Clark, but that her actual coach from the Liberty, Sandy Brondello, is coming with her. And her response? "You can't escape me," said with the biggest smirk. And just like that, the draft had its meme moment. It wasn't just funny, it was iconic. That line instantly turned Sabrina into the perfect side character in a drama that nobody expected. But everyone needed, because while fans were laughing, insiders were reading between the lines, and what they saw was way deeper than a joke. On the surface, it looked playful. Just Caitlin Clark shaking up the All-Star draft with a bold, headline-making move. But beneath the laughs and viral clips, something deeper was bubbling. This wasn't a random coach swap. This was personal. Let's rewind for a second. Just a few months ago, Caitlin Clark was left off the 2024 Olympic roster, a decision that sent shockwaves through the basketball world. The coach behind that controversial call, Cheryl Reeve, the same Cheryl Reeve Clark just traded away on national television. Coincidence? Please. And if that wasn't enough, Reeve had already stirred the pot earlier in the season by making very public comments about the WNBA's over-focus on Clark's media presence and popularity. To fans, it sounded like shade. To Clark, it sounded like a challenge. So when the All-Star draft rolled around and she had the power to choose, she made a statement. She didn't throw hands. She threw the clipboard. You didn't want me on your Olympic team? Cool. Then you don't get to coach me at the All-Star game either. No screaming, no drama, just action. Quiet, cold, calculated, and savage. The trade wasn't about fun. It was about flipping the narrative. In one move, Caitlin sent a message to the league, to the fans, and maybe most of all, to Cheryl. I don't need you to validate me. I'll write my own story. And just like that, the All-Star game became more than a showcase. It became a battleground. When Caitlin Clark dropped the now legendary coach swap, the basketball world froze. But Sabrina Ionescu, she leaned back, smirked, and delivered one of the coldest one-liners in WNBA history. You can't escape me. Those 4 words, instant classic. It wasn't just funny, it was loaded with layers. Because what looked like a joke between teammates was actually a signal that something much bigger was unfolding. Let's break this down. Sabrina had just been picked by Caitlin for Team Clark, already a power duo. But then, in a twist of fate, or maybe a little scheming, her head coach from the New York Liberty, Sandy Brondello, got pulled into the mix too. And just like that, the Liberty trio was reunited on a national stage. For Sabrina, it wasn't just about friendly banter, it was a power alignment. She and Brondello have spent an entire season building chemistry, systems, trust, strategy. Now, that entire playbook just walked into the All-Star locker room with her. That smirk, it wasn't just sass, it was a warning shot to the other team. She didn't need to say, "We're about to run circles around you." She just said, "You can't escape me." And fans felt that energy instantly. The clip went viral in seconds. Twitter lit up. ESPN couldn't stop replaying it. Because in that moment, Sabrina wasn't just part of the story. She became the heart of it. This wasn't just a reunion. This was team chemistry meets competitive advantage. And with Clark running point and Brondello drawing up plays, let's just say, "You can't escape me" wasn't a warning. It was a spoiler. Let's be clear. This wasn't some heat-of-the-moment, headline-chasing stunt. Caitlin Clark knew exactly what she was doing. What looked like all-star shenanigans was actually one of the sharpest strategic moves the league has ever seen, wrapped in a mic-drop moment and broadcast live to millions. Clark didn't just swap coaches. She changed the game, literally and symbolically. By trading Cheryl Reeve for Sandy Brondello, Caitlin distanced herself from the coach who cut her from the Olympic roster, pulled in a proven winner who knows how to elevate top talent, united Sabrina Ionescu with her trusted coach, creating a tactical edge before tip-off, asserted player power in a league where the balance of control is shifting. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about crafting the perfect environment, a roster, a system, and a sideline that maximized synergy. And Caitlin did it without asking permission. She didn't run it by execs. She didn't check the fine print. She just looked into the camera and said, "Sorry, WNBA, sorry, ESPN. We just made it a rule." Iconic, bold, calculated. The chaos, that was just the cover story. The real headline was, Caitlin Clark is not just a generational talent. She's a generational thinker. And if you're still thinking this was just about drama, you missed the play. Because while the world was watching for pettiness, Caitlin was setting up a chessboard of control. The All-Star game didn't just get spicy, it got strategic. When Caitlin Clark announced her unprecedented All-Star coach swap live on TV, the arena erupted. But while the spotlight was on players, the real emotional roller coaster played out on the sidelines. Let's start with the woman at the center of the trade, Sandy Brondello. Instead of confusion or frustration, Brondello handled the moment like a true pro. with poise, humor, and a healthy dose of perspective. Her reaction, a smile, a laugh, and a quick text from her son that read, "Mom, you just got traded on live television." That one message said it all. This wasn't just a quirky all-star twist, it was history, and Brondello embraced it. Rather than sulking about being tossed around like a trading card, Sandy stepped up. She instantly shifted gears, ready to coach a squad filled with stars she'd never worked with, including the most high-profile player in the league. Her response proved why she's respected across the W. Adaptable, focused, zero ego. Now contrast that with the other sideline. Cheryl Reeve, who suddenly found herself coaching players that she hadn't drafted, and coaching against Caitlin Clark, the very player she left off the Olympic roster just weeks before. That awkward tension was palpable. This wasn't just a coaching assignment, it was a chessboard of grudges, optics, and reputations. Reeve didn't make a public fuss, but the silence spoke volumes. You could feel the shift in power dynamics. Suddenly, the coach who held the gatekeeping power for Team USA was at the mercy of the same player she underestimated. Talk about a role reversal. From the benches to the broadcasters, the mood was electric. ESPN commentators scrambled to confirm if the trade was even legal. League officials looked both stunned and amused. Nobody had an answer, and that was the magic. In a single move, Caitlin Clark exposed a truth most leagues try to hide. Sometimes the players do have the power. The coaches? They just got front row seats to a new era of WNBA authority, and they handled it with a mix of grace, grit, and, let's be honest, a whole lot of behind-the-scenes texting. Clark didn't whisper her dissatisfaction with Cheryl Reeve. She broadcast it in front of cameras during one of the league's most watched events. And instead of asking, "Can I do this?" she looked into the lens and said, "Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rules. Sorry, ESPN, but we just made it a rule." That right there, that's player power in its rawest form. Let's be clear, Caitlin is in her second year. She doesn't have championship rings or MVPs yet. But what she does have is an understanding of something even bigger than stats. Influence, visibility, narrative control. She knows she's the face of a movement, not just a franchise. And she's using her platform to challenge the old norms, ones where players stay quiet, follow protocol, and avoid stepping on toes. Caitlin, she stomped, and the league felt it. This wasn't about pettiness, it was about precedent. She turned a coach trade into a statement of autonomy. She turned an all-star game into a case study on agency. She reminded everyone, fans, executives, coaches, that players are no longer just part of the show. They are the show. And if they can restructure an all-star game on the fly, what else might they start rewriting? Player empowerment isn't coming, it's here. And Caitlin Clark, she's not just playing by the rules, she's creating her own. Caitlin Clark's coach swap wasn't just a moment, it was a movement. And like any true power move, it sent shockwaves far beyond that night's draft stage. Across the WNBA, front offices, coaching staffs, and locker rooms started asking a new question. If she can do that, what else might be possible? Let's be honest, this shook some coaching trees. Suddenly, it wasn't just about X's and O's. It was about trust, alignment, and mutual respect. Clark made it clear. If she feels disrespected, she won't just vent, she'll act. And that changes how coaches approach their stars. Because now, coaching against your own player, like Reeve had to do with Nafisa Collier, isn't just awkward, it's a headline. Expect more honest conversations behind closed doors. Less assuming players will just deal with it. Caitlin's move introduced accountability, not just for players, but for leadership. Let's not ignore the marketing gold this drama delivered. Ratings popped, social media exploded, TikToks, memes, hot takes. The WNBA was trending everywhere. That kind of buzz is priceless, and it reminded everyone in the league office of something crucial. Let the players lead the entertainment. When fans tune in for a coach trade and stay for the game, that's brand magic. Don't be surprised if future all-star events lean way more into this unpredictability. Coach swaps, player captains, deeply mic'd reactions. This moment didn't just change Caitlin's reputation. It shifted how the league might package every All-Star weekend from here on out. This wasn't just a viral moment, a spicy quote, or even a historic coach trade. This was the beginning of a shift, a cultural pivot point in the WNBA, broadcast live for the world to see. Caitlin Clark didn't just bend the rules. She rewrote them, mid-broadcast, with a smirk and zero hesitation. And in doing so, she reminded everyone that women's basketball isn't just evolving, it's revolutionizing. The WNBA has always had talent, but now it has a new kind of power. Power in voice, power in personality, power in decision-making. From the tension with Cheryl Reeve to the hilariously iconic "You Can't Escape Me" from Sabrina Ionescu, to Sandy Brondello's graceful pivot and the ripple effects touching every corner of the league, this moment proved that control is shifting, not just to the players, but to the culture they're building, one that's bold, unapologetic, and driven by authenticity. So what does this mean going forward? It means the WNBA is entering its main character era. And if this All-Star draft is any preview of what's to come, buckle up. Because the game isn't just changing, the players are changing it.